Hey, Mom, are you there? I have something that I'd kind of like to talk to you about, if that's okay.
Oh, Cindy? Of course, dear. What's on your mind? You know you hardly ever message me this late at night, though. Is everything okay? Have you already had dinner?
Yeah, I've already eaten dinner. I'm on my own tonight, though, so I just kept it simple.
Oh, you're at home alone tonight? Where's Jack?
Jack had some work dinner thing that he had to attend, so he told me I'd be on my own tonight.
Ah, okay, I see. Are things going well between you and Jack? I'm sensing just a little bit of tension there.
Well, I thought that things were going well between us.
But what? Has something happened to make you think otherwise now? You know that you can talk to me about this, right?
No, it's not that. It's another problem that I wanted to talk to you about, really.
Another problem? Well, what kind of problem is that? You know that I'll always be here to listen.
Okay, well, you want grandkids one day, don't you, Mom?
Don't tell me that you've been worrying yourself about having kids again, Cindy.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying that Jack and I have been married for 3 years already. All my other friends who've been married that long already have kids too, and talk to me about them all the time. And, I don't know, I just worry that you're expecting grandchildren as well. And then I wonder why we haven't had any kids yet.
Well, of course I would be overjoyed if you had a child and had a grandchild. But the fact of the matter is that this is an issue to be decided between you and your husband. A child shouldn't be something that's rushed into just because one side wants one really badly. Not to mention all the other things that can go into considering how time to have a baby.
Well, I guess you're right about that. I don't want to feel like I'm trying to rush him into anything.
But what is all of this really about? Are you just worried about when you're going to be having your baby? Is that it?
I'm just saying that I'm already 30 years old. I thought I would have been a mother by now, to be honest.
Well, I know what you mean, but life really works out exactly how we pictured it when we were younger. But I understand your worries. After all, you're probably more concerned with your biological clock, aren't you?
Do I even need to say anything to that?
Nobody said that being a woman isn't difficult. And sure, maybe it might have been physically better if you had kids when you were younger. But plenty of women have kids in their 30s, and you've got to keep your chin up about these things. Everything is going to work out, and when it does, you're going to be so happy with the results.
Mom, I think I might not actually be able to have any kids, if I can be honest with you.
Oh my. Well, what makes you say this all of a sudden? What makes you think that?
I don't know. I haven't gone to see any doctors about it because I'm too scared to hear what they'll have to say. But Jack went to have himself examined, and he said that the doctor said that there was no problem with him.
Well, if you haven't even gone to see a doctor about this, then it sounds like you might be worrying over nothing.
But what if I missed my window? What if it's too late and I'll never be able to have kids now? And if I can't have kids, then it's going to be all my fault. I'll be the reason you don't have any grandkids.
Cindy, I know that this is all a lot for you to think about at once, and I know that you're worried about what's going on in your body as you get older. But I want you to know that before you start worrying about anything, you really should go and talk to a doctor first.
I know, but what if they say I really can't have any kids? What am I going to do then? I don't know if my marriage is going to be able to survive something like that. After all, I know that Jack wants kids of his own one day too.
Well, what does Jack have to say about any of this? Have you talked to him about it?
I have, but I don't think he's thinking about it as seriously as I am. I don't know what to do anymore.
Well, I just want you to know that my feelings for you are not based at all on whether or not you can have kids. And I'm sure that Jack feels the same way about you. If you just talked to him more about this, I'm sure you'd see he understands. Besides, if Jack did go to the doctor and they told him he couldn't have kids, would you leave him?
No, of course not. I would never leave him. But it's almost never the guy's fault when it comes to this kind of thing. That's why I'm so nervous. It feels like there's so much pressure on me.
Well, I think that you might just be overthinking things just a bit, don't you? I really do think that you should make sure that Jack understands exactly how you're feeling about this. And then, you two can talk about how you want to handle this moving forward. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, you're right. We should probably try doing something like that. Thank you so much for talking about this with me, Mom.
It's no problem at all. I understand that this is a very difficult, touchy subject, but you should know that you can always come to me.
Of course. Thank you so much. But I think now I need to find Jack and talk to him about this instead. Then we'll figure out what to do next. And maybe I should make an appointment with the doctor after all.
I think that it's a great idea. Talk to Jack, come to an understanding, and then go to the doctor and stop living in fear of the unknown. You know, your dad and I had quite a few problems when we were younger as well.
I know, but you still had kids. Besides, I can't see you and Dad having any problems at all.
Well, we certainly did have some. Every couple goes through highs and lows. It's just important to remember that you have people in your corner. So don't ever forget about the people who care about you and will love you no matter what.
Of course. Thank you so much for talking to me about this, Mom. I'm going to go and think about what to do next.
Hello, Cindy. Do you have the day off? I was just curious if you were at home right now. I actually just got a bunch of freshly picked vegetables from my neighbors. I was wondering if I couldn't drop off some at your place.
Oh, Mom, I'm really sorry, but I'm actually not at home right now.
Oh, really? Are you out with Jack or something like that?
Mom, there's a pregnancy.
Oh my gosh, you're pregnant? This is huge! Congratulations, Cindy. And to think you were so worried about this earlier. I know that you were just being worried. So how many weeks along are you now then?
I'm still not sure, actually. I don't know how far along I am.
Wait, what? You don't know how far along you are? Have you gone to a doctor about this? They would be able to tell you. Hello? Cindy, are you there? Hello? Okay, well, you must be quite busy right now. But either way, this is very exciting, so congratulations once again. We'll talk about this later, and then you can fill me in about all the details. Hello, Jack. It's been a while since you and I last spoke, hasn't it? I was just curious if I could ask you something. Are you with my daughter right now? Because she was just texting me a few hours ago, and I haven't heard a word from her since then.
Oh, hey there, Marie. It's nice to hear from you. I'm sorry, but no, I'm actually not with Cindy right now.
Oh, I see. Well, anyways, Cindy told me the big news about her being pregnant. That's great, isn't it?
Oh, right, the pregnancy.
This is huge news. We have to get together and celebrate sometime, don't you think?
Wait, what? But I got my girlfriend pregnant. Didn't you hear the news from Cindy?
Sorry. What? I'm a little confused. What do you mean your girlfriend? Aren't you married to my daughter?
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Cindy wasn't the one who got pregnant. The girl who got pregnant was the girl I was seeing on the side.
What are you saying? You're not serious, are you, Jack? Please tell me this is some kind of bad joke. I mean, you and Cindy are married. You wouldn't actually go out and cheat on her, would you?
Well, I did. I'm not gonna try to hide it. In fact, I love this other woman of mine more than anything in the world.
So then you really are having an affair behind my daughter's back? I don't even know what to say.
There's nothing to say, Marie. These things just happen, you know?
Just happen? You mean you're not even going to try and come up with an excuse?
What would be the point? Cindy couldn't get pregnant. We tried so hard for a whole year and still had nothing to show for it. So I finally thought that maybe I would just have to leave Cindy and get with someone younger who would have a higher chance of getting pregnant.
But I thought that you two didn't actually know whether Cindy really couldn't have kids or not. She told me that she still hadn't gone to see a doctor about it.
I know. I've already got another woman pregnant, so I really don't see how I could be the source of the problem. Besides, I went to the doctor and they said I was fine.
But I'm saying that Cindy never went and had that confirmed for herself. You just both assumed it was the case. Now, Jack, I understand wanting a child of your own, but I really do think that you need to go and talk to Cindy about this. If you really didn't think that things were working out, you should have divorced my daughter and then gotten with someone else.
Well, like I told you, these things just happen. I can't help that I got this girl pregnant before I was able to end things with Cindy. But now that I have, I can see that it's a sign that I should leave Cindy.
So you're really being serious about this then? Even though you swore to my daughter to be faithful to her?
do you really think that I'm the first person in the world to break their wedding vows? I don't know if you knew this, but half of all marriages end in divorce. I'm not going to be persecuted just because my feelings for your daughter changed over time. Besides, I would have never married her if I knew she couldn't have kids. So if you want someone to blame, I'm afraid this is all Cindy's fault.
You're really trying to blame my daughter for the affair that you're having behind her back?
What are you going to do about it? Punish me? If you're thinking of suing me for the affair, I'll be happy to pay. Of course, I might countersue and claim that Cindy knew she couldn't have kids at the time we got married and just hid it from me.
Jack, what is the matter with you? You don't actually think that Cindy would do something like that, do you?
It doesn't really matter what I think. It matters what a judge will think.
I don't believe this. You really think that you're going to nail Cindy for marriage fraud when you're the cheater?
I guess we'll just have to see where the chips land, won't we? But just think about it. On the one hand, I have Cindy in her 30s still crying about not being able to have kids. On the other hand, I have a beautiful young woman ready to throw herself at me who I could get married to and start a family with.
Enough. I don't want to talk about this any longer. And I don't want you causing any more pain to my daughter.
Well, okay then. In that case, I think it's best if we just get a divorce and go our separate ways then. Of course, the next time we see each other, well, let's talk about the matter of compensation for stringing me along this far. Oh, and you should know I've already submitted our divorce papers.
Hold on a second. What do you mean by that? You've already turned in the divorce papers for you and Cindy?
That's right. My girlfriend is already 3 months pregnant, and I need to get rid of her as soon as possible. So I had the paperwork filed this morning.
You were with Cindy up until the afternoon, isn't that right?
Yep, I was at home, made her sign the divorce papers, then I went out to turn them in. I have no idea where Cindy is right now.
I am never, ever going to forgive you for this.
Oh, that's fine with me. I wasn't really looking for that to begin with. I'm just so happy that I'm finally ending things with Cindy. Even my parents are happy about this. Of course, it's not like I have anything personal against your daughter or anything. She made good money. She kept the house clean. But it was her infertility that I could never forgive her for. But like I said, sometimes things just work out this way, right?
Hello, Jack. Been some time since you and I last spoke, hasn't it?
Wait a second, is this Marie? As in Cindy's mom, Marie? What do you want now? Did you come to tell me that you're finally going to pay me for the lie that Cindy told me? Because you already forced me to pay her for the affair.
Well, yes, you did pay us what you owed Cindy, and now I understand you're married and living with your new wife.
That's right, but what about it? You're not thinking of doing anything to my child, right? Because I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not afraid to call the cops and have them deal with you.
No, it's nothing like that at all. You've got nothing to worry about there. I just wanted to check is all. I suppose that you've already registered the birth with the city hall and everything like that, right?
Of course we have. That's what you're legally bound to do when you have a kid, right?
That's right. I'm glad you know that. That must have been such a process with all the paperwork.
Well, having kids is a whole process, as I'm sure you know. But I'm happy, and that's all I really care about.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me at all. Of course, you only care if you're happy. After all, you must be so happy to finally have a child of your own now, isn't that right?
Okay, what is this? What are you getting at, huh? You think I can't read between the lines? What are you trying to say?
I'm trying to say that the kid you have with your new wife isn't actually yours.
All right, now you're just starting to really make me mad. I mean, where do you get off talking to me like this? Just who do you think you are?
Also, you should know that Cindy wasn't infertile. She is perfectly capable of having kids.
What are you even talking about now? You're just bouncing from subject to subject.
Say what you like, but it's true. She went and had herself examined by a doctor who found no problems with her.
You're kidding me. That can't be right. That's impossible.
Believe it or not, it won't change the fact that it happened. We have the exam results and everything. And don't worry, we took the courtesy of having one forwarded to your house.
And just why in the world would you go and do something like that? it isn't going to make me want to be with her at all. I'm never, ever going to get with Cindy again. Besides, you know that I'm married now.
Oh, trust me, I wouldn't want you coming near my daughter if you were the last man on earth. But you still don't think it's strange? I mean, if Cindy wasn't infertile, then wouldn't that mean you are?
What are you talking about? Of course I'm not. I can have kids just fine, thank you very much.
So then you really sure that your wife's kid is actually your child too? Because you know that you told Cindy that you went to a doctor and then examined you? Then you told her that they said you had no problems. But did you even go to see a doctor in the first place? Obviously your wife is fine since she got pregnant too.
But I don't get what you're trying to get at here.
I'm telling you that your wife slept with another man and now she's making you raise his child.
No, that can't be right. You have no idea what you're talking about. My new wife is young and beautiful and would never betray me like that. Besides, she told me she hasn't even been with that many guys. So where would she get an idea like that?
You really think that your new wife is some innocent little flower? You should know that I looked into her a few months ago. And it turns out that she has quite a wealthy sugar daddy who I'm sure you had no idea about.
A sugar daddy? You mean she was seeing some rich guy on the side while she was seeing me?
I'm sure you won't believe a single thing that I try and tell you, but that's why I have evidence. But what you choose to do with it is, of course, entirely up to the two of you.
Now hold on for just one darn second. I mean, if you're really telling the truth about this, then...
Why don't you go ahead and open up the package that we sent you? All the documents should be there. But whatever you do from there is really up to you.
Well, when did you send it out? When is this package of yours arriving? I can't just wait around and do nothing until it shows up.
Oh, I imagine it already got delivered. I had it sent to your parents' house, actually.
But wait, my new wife was talking about how she kept getting calls from my mom and dad.
Oh, I see. Well, then the package must have been delivered now.
So then her kid really isn't mine. Is that really true?
It certainly appears to be the outcome with the highest probability of being true. She sued her rich man for some money and knows she's having you raise this child of his.
No, this can't be happening. I refuse to believe it. It has to be my kid. It just has to be.
Well, okay then. You keep on believing that and keep raising that child as if it were your own.
Come on. I get a divorce, I get remarried, I become a father. And now you're just gonna sit there and tell me that it's all been a lie? I wish that I'd never broke up with Cindy in the first place!
Are you kidding me? You didn't care about Cindy at all. You ended your marriage with her for no reason and married the woman you were cheating on her with right away. You don't deserve to be feeling any pity for yourself right now.
But, please, I never wanted this to happen.
You said it yourself. You broke up with my daughter because you thought she couldn't get pregnant. Do you have any idea the kind of pain and guilt that you put Cindy through by doing that, though? She took off work for months and fell into a deep depression. She's only barely starting to go back into her old self now.
I'm so sorry. I never intended to hurt Cindy like that at all. You had to believe me.
I don't care what you have to say for yourself. You're never getting near my daughter again.
But I don't even know what to do now. If what you said is really true, then what am I supposed to do?
Why do you think that any of that is our problem? You broke up with Cindy because you made assumptions. You got another woman pregnant while being married to my daughter. Well, now you realize that you were just being played this whole time as well, and I say that it serves you right. After that, I heard that Jack ended up getting a DNA test and found out that the child he thought was his, in fact, was not. Then he began the divorce process with his new wife, who fought Jack on it every step of the way. I had no idea what's going on with the divorce now, but last I heard, it was being jammed up in court by this woman. It was only a year later I got an update that the divorce had finally gone through, but I didn't really care, and that the long drawn-out process was just what Jack deserved. After the divorce, he tried to reach out to Cindy, who rejected him right away and blocked any means he would have to contact her. It's been years since all of that, and now Cindy is remarried to a very kind man whom I very much approve of. She swore to me that she would never marry again after Jack, but I'm glad to see her recovering and learning how to reopen her heart to love. Last week, I got an excited message from Cindy and a sonogram photo of my future grandchild. I couldn't be happier, both for my daughter and for myself.
Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to see more content like this.
Hey sis, long time no see. How many years has it been since you left home now?
Oh, I think I'm about to Oh, hi, Dana.
What's the attitude about all that? Still think you're hot stuff, do you? I'll be telling mom and dad about this.
The old run and tell your parents despite being a grown-ass woman trick. How I haven't missed you.
Oh, what's that? Are you scared? You know you'd be in heaps of trouble if I told mom and dad you were being horrible to me.
You act like you just revealed the mother of all trump cards, but you do realize I left home nearly 10 years ago now, right? Your threats have no power over me.
Huh?
Sure. Back then, I was a naive little kid with no life experience, and I was genuinely struggling with living on my own. The only reason your threats worked with me back then was because I was terrified by the prospect of having to make it completely on my own after mom and dad kicked me out. But luckily, I found a job the week before, which gave me a means of supporting myself. So I vowed to make it on my own without having to rely on my family in the slightest. 10 years down the line, I'm financially independent and happier than I've ever been. You do well to remember I'm not the same vulnerable little girl as I was 10 years ago.
Wow, you're so impressive, Rachel. Would you like a medal? Wait a second. When you say you're financially independent, no way! I'm actually surprised.
Why?
Isn't it obvious? How could a stay-at-home housewife be financially independent? That's not how it works.
Huh? Since when was I a stay-at-home housewife?
It's actually hilarious that you're claiming to be independent when you rely totally on your husband's salary to live. You literally wouldn't have food on the table if not for him. Start making sense, woman. You're cracking me up too much here.
Dana, what are you saying? Are you sure you're not making some kind of misunderstanding?
Huh?
You think I'm a stay-at-home housewife? Husband? Married? Wait, what? You think I'm married?
Well, you aren't?
No, I'm very much not. I can forgive you for misunderstanding since we haven't seen each other in over 10 years, but I'm single.
Whatever. You don't have to try and show off, sis. It really is pathetic how transparent you are. You're wasting your time. Because I have incontrovertible proof that you're indeed married.
Huh? Proof?
I'm a little late coming out with this, because you distracted me. But now, on to the season I messaged you in the first place without further ado.
Damn, you mean you're not done yet? Lord, give me strength. I want to sleep soon, so make it quick, okay?
Then listen and listen good. Now you might want to sit down for this, but you see how it is? I'm pregnant with your husband's baby.
Huh, you're pregnant? With whose kid?
Your husband's, like I said.
But I just told you I'm single, so how is that possible? How can you be pregnant with my husband's kid if he doesn't exist? You're making some kind of mistake here, or maybe you're on drugs?
Drugs? How dare you? I most definitely am not. I'm pregnant, so the proof is right here in my belly.
Maybe you are pregnant, but that doesn't answer my question. Let me ask you once more, how is it possible that you're pregnant with my husband's kid when my husband doesn't exist? I'm single. S-I-N-G-L-E.
And like I told you, your husband's baby is in my belly. B-E-L-L-Y. Do you understand yet? Ugh, you're so dense.
I'm asking you because I don't understand. At the current point in time, I am husbandless. That means he doesn't exist. Which means I'm single, and that you, my darling, are crazy if you don't give up on whatever this is. I am S-I-N-G-L-E. Even if you are pregnant, which I don't doubt, your nickname did used to be the Village Bike after all, it's not my husband's.
Ugh, good grief. You just do not know when to give up, do you? I understand your heart must be full of negative emotions like frustration, rage, and jealousy right now to see your more beautiful little sister doing so well in life. But you need to be careful not to upset me. I have a little one to think about now, and stress is bad for the baby.
Believe me, there isn't an ounce of frustration, rage, or jealousy towards my imaginary husband's kid in my whole body. I'm just annoyed because I feel like I'm talking to a brick wall. Okay, let's hear it. What's my husband's name?
You actually want me to say it? What a masochist. I guess I'll say it if you really want me to. Your husband's name is Toby.
Toby?
Why would you want to hear me say his name, though? Isn't this painful for you? This is unhealthy, sis. So why don't you just stop before you get hurt again?
I'm not hurt, just indescribably confused. Who's Toby?
Huh?
If I recognized the name, I thought I might be able to ask my friends if they knew anything. But I've literally never met anyone called Toby in my entire life.
Huh?
I have no idea what kind of mammoth misunderstanding you're in the grips of here, but I strongly recommend you reinvestigate the identity of the father of your child. Goodbye.
Well, would you look at that? Turns out it was your husband after all. Why did you lie?
Excuse me?
It was Toby. I knew it.
How many times do I have to tell you I don't have a husband?
I hung around outside his house for a little while today because what you said had me so confused, and lo and behold, you come walking out.
Huh?
Which got me thinking, why would you be so desperate to deny it? To the point of telling barefaced lies and claiming you were single, and it finally dawned on me, I think I get it now. Because you can't bring yourself to move out of this huge luxury 5-bedroom house after working so hard to move in there with him.
Huh? Luxury 5-bedroom house? I didn't think it was possible, but I'm even more lost than before.
I hate to break this to you, Rachel, but I'm pregnant with your man's baby, which means I'm gonna be moving in so we can live together as a family, which means I'm so sorry, but you've gotta go. So if you don't mind, I need you to accept your fate, accept that your more beautiful sister won, and get out of my house.
But...
The jig is up. You can't bend and distort the truth anymore, because I outsmarted you. I bet you didn't expect me to wait outside his house, did you? I'm a genius. Boom! Divorce him, pack your things, and leave.
For the millionth time, I'm single.
Seriously, are you still playing this game? Even though my clever investigate efforts expose the truth to the light of the day? You know it's a waste of time, Rachel. Why are you doing this? You, seriously, do not know when to give up.
Well, I think you're right when you say the truth has been exposed to the light of day.
And so you admit it then?
I admit nothing.
Huh?
Hey, can you do me a favor? Would you mind putting your lunatic crusade against me on hold for a little while? I need to check something.
Huh? Check something? What is it?
Dana, I finally know who this Toby guy you're convinced is my husband is.
Huh?
I had a sneaking suspicion this might be the case, so I did a few checks. Can you just confirm something for me? That house that you think you saw me coming out of, was it the one recently got built on Apple Lane behind the highway?
Aha, that's right. So you knew exactly what I was talking about all along. Why even bother playing dumb? I get that when you preserve what little of your pride and dignity you have left, but this really would have been easier for everyone if you just admitted it straight away. How tragic! I could already be living my dream life of luxury and glamour as Toby's stay-at-home housewife, barefoot and pregnant in his kitchen, if not for your stubbornness.
It's true, I did have a vague idea of what you might be talking about. But I have a duty of confidentiality that limits what I'm able to discuss due to my job. I am, however, willing to have this discussion within the range of what I just got permission from the boss on. Now, the key point here is that the married couple living in that house have both long been retired.
Huh? Then Toby must be their son.
Wrong. Their only son lives abroad and hasn't been home in a year.
What?
The only reason I go there a couple times a week is for my job as a visiting carer.
Huh? Your job?
That's right. I work for a company that provides care services to the elderly.
Wait a second. This can't be. If what you say is true, then who the hell's kid am I carrying?
Apparently, this Toby you keep mentioning is their personal driver, who also happens to be living on their sofa after falling on hard times.
Their driver?
I've never really spoken to him beyond the basic pleasantries, so I didn't realize who you meant until I stopped and thought about it for a while. Every time you meet him, he has you climb through a window, right? Did you never think that was strange?
No, he told me all the doors were broken. Plus, I thought it would be better that way, since we could get in trouble if you found out what we were doing. I didn't mind climbing through a window if it meant we could be together.
The obvious explanation to anyone with a brain being that he was sneaking you into somewhere you weren't supposed to be, because it wasn't his house.
Seriously? Rachel, what do I do? What do I do? Toby's real wife just sent me a horrible letter demanding compensation.
Huh? Ah, I see. What was it again? He had to move out for a while because their house got flooded, right? There was no more room at her parents' place, so Toby moved in with the Jeffersons. Which is when you got your claws into him and you had your affair.
I had no idea he had a wife.
That's interesting. I got a different impression back when you were bragging about being pregnant with my husband's baby. Not only that, but they had kids, didn't they? Damn it, Dana, what have you done?
If he's not your husband, I don't want him.
Huh?
I only sold him because I thought he was your husband. He's useless to me now. I thought it was so unfair that you got to live in that huge house with him. There was no way I was going to let you carry on getting away with it. But if he's not your husband, I'm not interested. He's welcome to his wife. I don't care.
Dana, I think it might be a little late for that.
Huh?
I spoke to Mr. Jefferson, the actual owner of the house, who's finally aware of everything that's been going on under his roof now. You announced the pregnancy to Toby at the same time you handed over a signed set of engagement papers and declared your undying love for him, right? This all happened the day after his divorce with his ex-wife was finalized. Of course, because why waste time? Anyways, Mr. Jefferson said he was so ecstatic, he took the marriage papers down to the local office straight away with a smile on his face and a spring in his step.
No way!
Mr. Jefferson also fired Toby as their personal driver as soon as he found out what he'd been doing.
Fired? Why?
Because he betrayed their kindness by sneaking his mistress in through their window to have a sordid affair in the room they invited him to stay in because they felt sorry for him. Mr. Jefferson might be kind, but he doesn't tolerate disrespect. And to be honest, Toby is lucky. He's also ex-military, and his wife tells me he was known to get violent with people back in the day. Oh, and by the way, obviously it wasn't my fault, but the company understood that continuing to work there could be difficult for me, knowing that one half of the disgraced couple was my little sister. So, after lengthy talks between me, my boss, and the Jeffersons, out of consideration for me, it was decided that I wouldn't be their designated carer anymore and would go somewhere else.
Oh my!
The result being that I'm now responsible for looking after one of Mr. Jefferson's old friends, who, funnily enough, just so happened to be considering hiring a carer. The company are happy because they gained a handsomely paying new customer, and I get to carry on with my job as a visiting carer in the same capacity as before, with a little change of scenery.
This can't be happening. Are you telling me that despite the fact I'm pregnant with some unemployed homeless guy's kid and we're even about to get married, you benefited in some way? I don't understand how you have, but that's what it sounds like, and it's not fair. Not fair!
Are you serious? You don't have a leg to stand on here. None of this would be happening if you hadn't stolen my imaginary husband. Mistaking Toby for the owner of the house, mistaking me for Toby's wife. It could have all been prevented if you'd just done your research properly before charging in with your legs wide open, Or at the very least, asking me first. I would have just told you, you know?
But if I'd asked you, there was a chance you might figure out my plan to steal your husband.
That's why your life's at rock bottom. And that's why there's no light at the end of this tunnel. Are you at least self-aware enough to understand you dug your own grave?
No, I can still fix this. I know. I'll give Toby to you.
Huh? You couldn't possibly mean. You want me and Toby to get married and raise the kid currently growing inside your belly together? You couldn't possibly mean that, could you?
That's right. Phew! I'm so glad you understand. Thank you, sis. I was starting to worry there. Okay, well now, you just have to charm him. You can do that, right?
That's definitely not going to happen.
What? Why not? You have a right to protect me. I'm your little sister. That's what sisters do. You should be looking out for me. The only reason you exist in the first place is to help me when I'm in trouble. What's the point in you being around otherwise?
I got married 3 days ago.
Huh?
Me and my boyfriend, a colleague from work who I've been dating for 5 years, went 3 days ago to hand in the marriage registration papers together.
What the hell? You had a boyfriend the whole time?
Yep.
But that means you lied. You said you were single. What am I supposed to do now about my marriage to Toby?
You're the one who married him in the first place, so you could... oh, I don't know, get out of your own mess? None of this has anything to do with me.
But don't you feel bad for me? This is awful. I'm a victim here.
In a sense you are. A victim of yourself. If you want a divorce, then tell him you want a divorce. It's really that simple. The kid you're pregnant with, too? Decide what you're going to do between yourselves. It's time you stop trying to run away from the consequences of your action and faced reality, Dana.
Why won't you help me?
Do I really have to spell it out?
How am I supposed to know if you don't tell me?
Okay, have it your way. Because it's not my problem. It's your mess, and it's up to you to get out of it.
Huh?
Stop trying to pin the blame for your crazy, selfish behavior on other people, and stop trying to escape responsibility for once in your life. Wipe your own ass.
Oh my god.
Goodbye.
No, wait! Don't go! Please, Rachel, I'm begging you!
You might be wondering what our parents were doing while all this was going on. Apparently, my sister had told them that she'd stolen my rich husband. I don't know what came over them, but they were so excited that they spent a huge chunk of their pension on a celebratory party, thinking Dana would be able to cover it with her new husband's money before long. They started seriously panicking when they realized she'd made a huge misunderstanding the whole time and would never see that money again. By the time Dana and Toby went to take refuge at their place, they were already gone. Why? Because by then, they were knocking on the door of Toby's parents' house. Toby's parents were overjoyed by the news that they'd be getting a grandson, but they were disgusted with their son for having an affair and vowed to instill some morals in him by any means necessary. Last I heard, his dad had him up at 5 a.m. every morning to undergo a rigorous moral education. Apparently, he also works 3 separate jobs now because he's so overwhelmed with debt due to all the compensation he owes his ex-wife. And after being abandoned by all his friends, has no one to turn to. After sending me one last demoralized message, my disgraced younger sister completely vanished, and I never heard from her again. It never should have come to this. My life was meant for the better.